All right, knife review time. GearBest sent me this one, the LK5010 by Y-Start. And this one is offered for $57 and 54 cents. Sorry for the gross overexposure, by the way. I need this much light for all the detail to show up on this camera. So what we've got here is a blade made of 440C. That's a high carbon stainless steel. It's got a carbon content of 0.95 to 1.2%. So higher carbon content increases the wear resistance but reduces the corrosion resistance. It's also got manganese, silicon, chromium, and molybdenum. Those increase the hardenability, toughness, corrosion resistance, and wear resistance, among other things. So apparently there are lots of misconceptions about 440C because it's easy to ruin it if not worked correctly. There is actually an article by Jay Fisher, which I'm going to link in the video description down below, where he talks in depth about the steel. And it's sometimes also confused with 440A and B, which are a little different. From what I've read, it's got the greatest strength, hardness, and wear resistance of all stainless alloys when correctly heat treated. Now, whether or not this was correctly heat treated, I have no way of verifying, but that's the potential that the steel has. It can take and hold a very sharp edge, so overall it is quite good steel. It just needs to be, as said, worked properly. The handle scales are TC4 titanium alloy, which I frankly don't know anything about, so I can't comment on the material quality. It's got a frame lock, and there's a good contact here. The edge of the frame lock goes to about the center of the base of the blade. So I always like to see that when the lock seems nice and sturdy, and there's no issue with lockup. Always locks up reliably, even if I just open it very lightly with just letting gravity do the rest of the way. It still locks in securely and doesn't move. There's no blade play front to back. Now, at one point I dropped the knife on concrete, and afterwards there was a little bit of wiggle side to side. I tightened the pivot screw here. Now this looks like a weird screw, but you can actually fit a flathead screwdriver in there. So either way, it's like I can still detect like a tiny bit of wiggle side to side. All right, here's an update. After I first uploaded this review, one of my viewers pointed out something that I had completely overlooked at the time. And I've forgotten that a number of times to take a look at it because it's never seemed that important to me, and that is blade centering. And so far I've never had any blade that was really significantly off-center. Sometimes it's just a little bit off-center, and it's more of an aesthetic thing, so it hasn't really bothered me that much. But now that I'm aware of it, taking another look at this, now that you can see that it is quite substantially off-center. This is most likely a result of it dropping, but it might have been like this before. I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention to that actually. And the problem with that is that it actually scrapes on the inside of the frame. So if I close this at this point here, I'm feeling some resistance. Now at first I assumed that was a detent, but the detent kicks in later, namely here. So this is actually the blade scraping against the frame. And now that I'm taking a closer look, I can see there is a little bit of wear. Just a hint of scratching. So that's not a good thing. Now, is it a deal breaker? I don't think so. I would still overall recommend the knife, but this needs to be fixed, in my opinion, because you don't want to be wearing out the knife blade and also the frame all the time. It's got a ceramic ball bearing washer, and it makes the knife really quite smooth. The pocket clip has the right kind of stiffness, in my opinion. It's not very hard on the pocket, but it holds it securely in place. It's also relatively long. It sticks out quite a bit though. So if you don't like that, if you like the knife to ride very low, in your pocket while barely sticking out, then you might not like this. It doesn't bother me personally, but I know that some people are not fond of that. What I really like is how the surface looks. The machining here just is a really nice effect, this sort of honeycomb grind. Feels very good too. A titanium alloy generally feels very good in the hand. It feels, almost warm, pretty decent traction, and just overall very comfortable the way it's shaped. I think the corners here are not too steep, so yeah, definitely even if you grab it hard, this is not going to be unpleasant. And also what I like about the fit here is how flush it is. Like the blade doesn't stick out at all, and that makes it very compact, and it doesn't take up much space in the pocket, and it just makes it look really neat too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the blade sticking out, like protruding past the handle scales, but I just like how clean and precise it makes the whole design look. And nothing sticks out aside from the flipper and, well, the pocket clip, and the color is also quite attractive. It's a very nice kind of gray. So aesthetically, I'd say they definitely nailed this one. I mean, whether or not it suits your personal taste is another question, but I definitely think that the design overall has a lot of aesthetic value to it. The finish overall looks immaculate. It's also got a bit of stone washed finish right here, and the rest is satin polished. Really nice work on that. Can definitely appreciate that. Operation, it's very smooth. Right out of the box, it came already this smooth. Super easy to open. There is no need for a wrist flick or anything. You just push the flipper and out it comes. It's got a detent. You can see all the way here at the end. It's not a very strong detent, but it's there. There. And of course, it doesn't have to be a very strong detent because this is going to stay in the pocket anyway. There's no way the blade can snag in any way. The only thing that could possibly snag is the flipper. All right, sharpness. It's almost as sharp as it came out of the box. Didn't change a whole lot. And as you can see, that is definitely adequate. It's not hair shaving sharp, but close. And perfectly functional either way. Time to randomly cut stuff. That's always fun, isn't it? Yeah, this is quite random indeed. Not easy to cut. But yeah, it does it. Here's a bit of well-seasoned wood. And of course, cardboard. Probably the most commonly cut material. So I didn't really know what to expect because I had never heard of J-Start before, but I like it. It's clearly a well-made knife, quality materials and a good design, flawless fit and finish. Well, the only thing I said that I'm a little skeptical of is that it started to be a little bit loose just from dropping it once. Now again, adjusting the pivot helped, but I can still feel there's a tiny bit of play. So I'm a little bit worried that this happened after just dropping it a single time. So that could be improved. Also, one position belt clip only would be nice if it was reversible. Shouldn't be difficult. I mean, the design, if you flip it over, it's symmetrical enough. They could easily have holes on the other side to, put it there for left-handed use. Otherwise, I've had no issues with it. It's comfortable in the hand. It performs well. It's easy to carry. The price seems appropriate for the materials. And if you decide to order this knife or anything else at GearBest, you'll also be supporting the channel because I'll get a small percentage in affiliate commission. Now don't worry, it won't affect the reviews. If there is something that I don't like, I will tell you, and I will only recommend things to you that I genuinely like and think are worthwhile. And this one I do recommend. It's a good knife as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, hope you found the review helpful, and thanks for watching.